All right. Well, yeah, I think it was a good time to kind of get together and discuss the summer a little bit and kind of where we're going and where we're headed. I think it's been very productive. I've always been somewhat careful for the first two summer sessions to pace ourselves because it's a long off season. And so we've been doing a lot of skill work. We're kind of incorporating some 3-on-3 and 4-on-4 because Josiah is not full go yet because of a foot deal from before. E-Man isn't full go, obviously, from his injuries from before. And House, Mash, and Sebastian are not here. House and Mash will be here July 4th. Sebastian will be here in the fall. So very, very excited about the returners as well as the guys that we brought in. So I feel like we addressed the needs that we needed to. I think the guys that were here last year learned from last year and are eager and hungry to build off of it. So really excited.
So I get Sebastian is gone for what he's gone for, which is understandable. Does it actually help a little bit that Jalen and Jamal are the two guys that aren't here right now for everybody else to maybe kind of get their footing without two shooters?
Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of came to me in the spring. If I had it my way, I don't even know if I'd do summer school, as crazy as it sounds. I just think it's such a long season. But it is good to get them here. But with some of these older guys, if they're in a good academic standing to where they don't need to be here, because it really is, it's like 3.5 weeks. I want them foaming at the mouth come October and November, honestly. So with those two guys, when they had asked, I'm like, you're good. Like, we'll see it in July. But, yeah, it's good for guys like Donovan and KJ and some of these other guys to just get some good reps at different spots. So I'm excited to get them back, but I also do know. I mean, it is a long season.
Coach, those injuries you talked about, will they be ready to go come November the 7th?
Should be. Josiah shouldn't be much longer. E-Man obviously it'll be more the fall, September. And that's it, right? So Braden hurt his thumb the other day, but nothing serious, so he'll be out today. But, yeah, I mean, knock on wood, I would anticipate. But who knows right now?
Coach, when you said you felt the needs that you had for the team, how much did you feel it? I mean, would you give these guys, like, just upon first glance, are you very impressed by what you see, or what is it like?
Well, I haven't seen Josiah besides shooting jump shots, with non-contact. Morris has been very, very impressive. Morris fills a great need. The freshmen, all three freshmen, I've been impressed with. I mean, I think Donovan probably has the biggest rep because he was Mr. Basketball in the state of California, but I think Quentin and Braden have a really good chance. So I've kind of talked a lot about it. Like, I don't want a team full of transfers. I don't. I want to build from the ground up. But I think when you're taking over the situation that you took over, like, you're really trying to stabilize it, and it looks somewhat stable. So we'll see. I mean, long way to go. These guys this group has not been through anything together. That's why it's very, very important that the returners, the guys who, whether it's House, Mash, Javante, KJ, Jay, the guys that played a lot, they need to be the voices, good and bad, of what they learned.
Coach, in your experiences in other programs, how critical is a second season for a new staff and setting the tone of what you want your culture to be and just everything you guys are trying to build?
I mean, you think a little bit more clearer in year 2 than year 1. Now, it's a little bit different with COVID because normally when you took over a job, you were flying everywhere because we added 8-9 new guys from all over the country, but we did it on Zooms. So, your head wasn't on fire as much. Or even the barnstorming stuff that you do as a coach. Well, because of COVID, you didn't do as much of it. But now that been here for a year plus, the world seems to be moving towards normal. You just feel like you have your feet under you with everything, whether it's knowing you guys or dealing with boosters or being out in the community and all. You feel a little bit more comfortable. So. But it still takes time. I mean, it really does. I know what I signed up for when I got here. I feel really good about where it's going. It's trending in the right direction for sure.
Any surprises, Coach? Anybody surprise you? Maybe be able to do something that you didn't think they could do?
It's just hard to say because it's like Rob plays golf every day. It's like at the range versus on the course. There's the difference. But there's not much adversity right now. I really like the attitudes of the guys. That would be very troubling if it wasn't good, right now. But I like where they're at.
Coach, how's Barima doing as far as building muscle mass and getting strong?
He's doing well. I don't know how much stronger he's gotten. He's Barima's his game is certainly getting better, but weight is the key. And he has said over and over again, it's not an effort thing. Like, he wants to put on weight, but it's just going to take time. And if his body catches up to the skill level, he could be really impressive. But still working on it with him.
Is he one of those guys who could eat like 1,000,000 calories?
Yeah, he's not like me. Like, I put on 10 pounds after a meal. He's trying. He's trying it, and he's a guy, unlike a house and a mash, he's a guy who needs to be here for the whole 8-9 weeks so that we can really monitor the diet part of it.
For the guys who are here in this first summer session, what's your goal at the end of the 3.5 weeks? Where do you want to see them?
I think socially, getting acclimated in the community, academically, although it's not like normal school, you're only taking one class really, but just understanding what the expectations are with, okay, if you have study hall at 11 o'clock, you are there early. You're not there at 11:05. If you have weights at 1 o'clock, you're there early, ready to go. Just getting them to just understand the way that we're going to run our program, because when the season starts, we want as little distractions as possible. So it's more of that stuff. And then on the court, terminology and an understanding of offensively and defensively, although we don't really put in the playbook, but we're playing through concepts and just getting them to understand that. I think that's what I really look at in the summer, is the attitude, the effort, the body language, the communication. And then we kind of get into the X and O's in the fall.
Do you have to tell either the newcomers or even the returning players who kind of feel they have something to prove that right now is not really when you're making rosters and lineups, and like they don't have to do too much just because they're the new face in the...
Yeah, I always tell them this. I always say, however you think it's going to go, because the off season is so long, and you're whether it's good or bad, however you think it's going to go, it's probably not going to go that way. Whether, there's going to be adversity thrown in front of you individually and collectively as a team that we never would have anticipated. And it just always seems to happen that way. And you have to find a way to just live day by day. Like, we want you to have big goals. They all want to say, I'm going to the NBA. We're going to win the Mountain West. We're going to... Great. Like, it's great to have lofty goals, but, like, who knows what's in front of us on a day-to-day basis. So... just live for the moment every single day. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to do something. Like, just stay the course, because the older guys know that. Younger guys don't always know that.
Coming out of the recruiting during COVID, what was it like to recruit this time around, as far as maybe players knowing the program already and just getting them to really seriously take this one seriously? Yeah, I mean,
It's hard as a coach, because it don't matter if it's a pandemic. It doesn't matter what happens. If you play the games, the coaches are going to be judged by wins and losses, and nobody wants to hear an excuse. Doesn't matter. And I understand that. But taking over a program that won 6 games and then having to revamp a roster off of Zooms, to me, it's not realistic. So now that the world where we can go recruiting, we're going recruiting next weekend, and we can evaluate high school kids, and we can bring players on campus. All that stuff, even from a chemistry standpoint, is so important. And we had a good attitude last year. We really didn't have any issues, but you're bringing in kids from all over the country who had never seen this place. So it feels more normal, and to where we can build some relationships for several years and have guys to campus on a visit and so on. So it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect and flawless and there's never going to be a bump in the road. But what any coach, I think, that took a new job last year, where the players all, you had to revamp a roster. It was a bit of a challenge.
I'm sorry, where's the schedule at?
We are getting very close. We've got one more contract. So we've got 2 games to add, and we're almost official on one more. And then the MTE's got to add. The MTE adds those games, not us. So they got to find one more game. So close.
You're talking about Barima's weight. How about Sebastian? How much communication you been having with him while he's not here about where you want him to be with that? And also what are you hoping he gets out of his experience in Sweden?
Well, I told him when he asked me about it, he came to me towards the end of the year and asked, can he do it? And I said, I don't think you should do it, but I think it's a great opportunity for you. The reason why I said I don't think he should do it is because I thought he was really trending in a great direction with us. He was having an awesome spring. He was getting stronger in the weight room. Now he's going to go play for his country, and this isn't wrong, but they're trying to win games. I don't know if they're trying to develop Sebastian. But I think it's an awesome opportunity for him in life, and he has great pride in his country. And to play for his national team. So all that is great. So I'm happy he's doing it. We are in communication with him a lot. But it's not going to be the same. I mean, it's just when you're with him every single day and he's living in the weight room, it's different. But I still think it's great for his maturity and his confidence to do that. So he was trending in a great direction. He's an awesome kid. He works hard. I know he'll have a great experience. I trust him unequivocally. And so, yeah, we've been in communication with him. And just kind of, I don't know exact date of when the games start. I think next month. But we'll be following him.
So with him gone and then other injuries to Josiah, and what have you seen from the front court just with like those key pieces not here?
Well, Morris has been impressive. He's been going. You could just tell he has. I mean, there's only one guy on this team. We figured it out who's played in the NCAA tournament, and that's Morris. I feel like the mic is not in season shape. Morris is the only one on the team who's played in the NCAA tournament. So, and you could, when you watch him, he just got a maturity level to him where he's been doing it for a while. Josiah, you can tell talking to him that he's been doing it for a while. So Morris has been great. Jay has had his moments where he's been impressive, like last year. Still think you got to put on some muscle over the summer and the fall, which I know he knows he's committed to doing. Barima, like I said, Barima's game is getting better. We just need to get him stronger. And when he does, he's going to be impressive as well. E-Man obviously hasn't gone. So, as I said before, I feel like when you look at Josiah and you look at Morris, their bodies are just so much more developed. And we needed that. When you're playing at San Diego State, who has 15 of those guys, or Colorado State or Boise, I mean, it was a big conference, and we needed to get bigger.
How was Jay responding to the fact that you guys brought in 2 bigs?
Well, it's different because Josiah hasn't been playing, right? So we haven't been 5-on-5 or anything like that. But I've told these guys, it's not just Jay with 2 bigs. Donovan Dent's one of the best point guards on the West, and we got a really good backcourt. And the best thing for all those guys is competition. We just didn't have that. And it's not that the players weren't good, but you had some young guys and you had some injuries, obviously, with Jethro and E-Man moving forward. But the bottom line is that's the best thing for them on a daily basis because they all want to be pros. Whether it's NBA, whether it's overseas, G League, or whatever, they all want to play for money. And the best thing in the world for them is healthy competition.
You kind of have alluded to this, I heard on the radio interview and stuff, too. People are expecting more out of you guys this year. You guys are going to be a trendy pick. You're going from honeymoon is over. You talked about all the challenges in year 1 to the fact that you guys could be picked anywhere from like 2 to 5 probably in the preseason polls, and that does put some pressure on you. How do you, I don't know what the history of Minnesota when you had some expectations, but like how do you as a staff kind of approach a season where there's expectations that, again?
Well, having good preseason expectations is good for enthusiasm, which we need to get back. I think obviously the program was down, COVID, all those things I think are connected to. We need to get this town talking about the Lobos again. So it's great when people pick you high. It's great because it helps season tickets. It helps fan interest. All those things are important. It helps recruiting. But at the end of the day, none of it really matters. And I've had a very, very up, down, especially at Minnesota. FIU, nobody thought we'd be anything. I think we finished third or fourth. But the approach is the same every single day. Now, I did tell them yesterday before practice, I said, guys, you are going to be told you are the trendy pick. I mean, I think San Diego State deserves all the preseason accolades that they get because they've got veterans and they've got talent and they've got stability. Wyoming's got two of the best players back. But we will be a trendy pick, but it really doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. So I love that people are going to be talking about us because I want the Lobo fans to get excited about us. But on a day-to-day basis, it's totally irrelevant to what we do.